let's just put it this way. I would stay in a loveless marriage just to make sure I could be with Lena every day.
Kelly Ripa is a familiar face in millions of American homes, greeting audiences each morning with endless energy and warmth. But beneath that bright smile lies a lesser-known story of relentless pressure and hidden hardships, one that quietly reveals the true cost of living life under a microscope. What does it really mean to spend decades performing happiness while grappling with personal vulnerability and professional uncertainty? The answer is far from simple, and it challenges the way we understand strength and success in the world of daytime television. The hidden weight of visibility. For more than 2 decades, Kelly Ripa has been one of the most familiar faces in daytime television. Viewers know her for her energy, quick humor, and ability to make everyday conversations entertaining. But behind the bright lights and cheerful personality is another side of long-term fame, the pressure of being constantly visible. Hosting a daily television show requires more than simply appearing on camera. Kelly is expected to arrive prepared, energetic, relatable, and ready to entertain regardless of what may be happening in her personal life. There is little room for an off day when millions of viewers expect the same familiar personality every morning. That expectation creates an unusual form of emotional labor. Kelly must remain open enough for viewers to feel connected to her while still protecting parts of her private life. Audiences hear stories about her marriage, children, health, and everyday experiences, creating the feeling that they know her personally. But the more she shares, the more difficult maintaining those boundaries can become. Public scrutiny makes that challenge even greater. Kelly's appearance, behavior, and comments can quickly become subjects of online discussion. Ordinary changes associated with aging or exhaustion can generate speculation. A facial expression can be interpreted as unhappiness, while a casual comment can become a headline once removed from its original context. For women in television, the pressure surrounding appearance can be especially intense. Viewers and media outlets often examine signs of aging, weight changes, clothing, and energy levels. Remaining confident while facing that level of attention requires resilience, but constantly being evaluated can still carry an emotional cost. Kelly has also experienced professional frustrations despite becoming central to the identity of daytime television. One of the most public examples came in 2016, when Michael Strahan's departure from Live was announced. Kelly later said she learned about the decision shortly before it became public. The situation highlighted a difficult contradiction. She could be one of the show's most recognizable figures while still feeling excluded from major decisions affecting her professional life. Experiences like these reveal that success does not automatically provide complete control. A person can become essential to a television program while still navigating network decisions, changing co-hosts, shifting expectations, and an industry that constantly demands reinvention. Through those changes, Kelly has continued performing. That consistency may look effortless from the audience's perspective, but maintaining it requires discipline. Live television leaves little opportunity to stop and recover when something becomes uncomfortable. Kelly must react instantly, keep conversations moving, and sometimes transform awkward situations into humor. Over time, that ability has sort of turned into one of her greatest strengths, you know. She can take frustration and make it a joke, and those awkward little moments that usually freeze people into place, well, she turns them into something entertaining. But being resilient doesn't mean the hard feelings just vanish. It means, really, learning how to keep working while you manage what's going on inside. There's also this messy link between authenticity and performance. Kelly's success relies in part on making viewers feel like the person on the screen is actually there, not a mask. She tells personal stories, laughs at herself, and goes over topics that plenty of other hosts might skip casually. However, total openness is never really possible when every new detail can pull in another round of scrutiny. So there's this constant question: how much should she reveal? If it's too little, she can look distant. like she's guarded. Maybe the real weight of her career is not from one huge dramatic moment, but from how these smaller pressures pile up. Early mornings, public criticism, work letdowns, personal stories that get reshaped into headlines, and that expectation to stay bright and cheerful. It all adds up, slowly but surely. Still, she keeps finding a way to connect with audiences in a kind of familiarity that very few television personalities actually manage. Kelly Ripa's journey shows how visibility can open extraordinary opportunities, while also requiring a serious personal rearrangement. Behind the laughter, there's someone constantly balancing public expectations with a private reality that doesn't always match. And to understand how she built the kind of resilience needed to keep that balance, we have to look back at the beginning of her path, from her early life in New Jersey, all the way to the opportunities that finally put her in the national spotlight. Transitioning from the immense burden of constant visibility leads us to the roots that shaped Kelly's ambition and shaped the foundation of her public and private life. From small town to national spotlight. Kelly Ripa was born in Stratford, New Jersey, into a working-class family with no direct connection to the entertainment industry. Her father worked as a bus driver before entering local government, while her mother was a homemaker. Kelly did not grow up with Hollywood connections or inherited opportunities. Instead, her path was shaped by ambition, discipline, and an early passion for performing. As a child, Kelly studied ballet and piano, developing skills that required patience and commitment. While attending Eastern Regional High School, a drama teacher recognized her potential and encouraged her to pursue acting. That support helped give Kelly the confidence to take performing more seriously and eventually pursue opportunities in television. Her earliest appearances were far from glamorous. Kelly worked as a dancer on programs including Dancin' on Air and Dance Party USA. These small roles gave her valuable experience in front of the camera. She learned how to perform naturally, maintain her energy, and react quickly, skills that would later become essential in live television. Her breakthrough arrived in 1990 when she was cast as Haley Vaughn on the soap opera All My Children. The rebellious and emotionally complicated character allowed Kelly to demonstrate that she could handle much more than a cheerful public persona. During her years on the series, she built a loyal following while developing her abilities as an actress. The whole demanding soap opera schedule somehow strengthened her work ethic. Day after day, it just kinda sticks. Long production days and these heavy dialogue sessions, plus emotional moments, really asked for serious attention and stamina. Kelly learned how to perform while everything is on the line and still hit tight deadlines, which kinda prepared her for the unpredictable demands she would later face as a television host. All My Children also shifted her personal life in a way that felt sudden, but not exactly. She met actor Mark Consuelos. He played Mateo Santos on the series, and that connection eventually moved past the screen. The two married in 1996. After that, they raised 3 children, while still keeping up their entertainment careers, and somehow balancing everything together. Kelly's trip from New Jersey to national television wasn't some straight road into the business. It relied on preparation, persistence, and the right opportunity, but also on people who could see her potential before she even fully arrived there. Those early moments laid down the basis for everything that followed. She had already figured out, even before the biggest changes, how to handle pressure, connect with viewers, and stay flexible in environments that never really slow down. But becoming a successful soap star was only the opening scene. Her later switch into daytime hosting would lift her career to another tier, bringing more fame, fresh opportunities, and a very different style of being watched in public. The demands of career and home life blended in ways that added emotional complexity and sometimes pressure to what might seem a perfect success story. Balancing marriage, fame, and family. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos' relationship appeared as a modern Hollywood success. 2 talented actors meeting on set, falling in love, and sustaining their marriage through years in the spotlight. They married in 1996 and raised 3 children, managing to stay together amid the pressures that often challenge celebrity relationships. Yet this idealized image masked the real effort and emotional labor required to maintain their bond. Both Kelly and Mark pursued demanding careers, often with conflicting schedules and prolonged separations. Their marriage, while a source of strength, also became part of Kelly's public identity, which complicated ordinary difficulties. Private struggles risked becoming public stories, and small misunderstandings could be scrutinized or misinterpreted by fans and media. This pressure made sustaining the relationship uniquely challenging. Fame denies the privacy many couples take for granted. Every absence, glance, or comment may be dissected for signs of trouble. For Kelly, the task was not just to preserve her marriage, but to do so while millions thought they already understood it. Maintaining a healthy partnership under such a spotlight requires constant communication and resilience. Their openness about the work needed to keep their relationship strong shows a commitment behind the scenes that few realize. Their marriage also became a source of relatable content on Kelly's show, with anecdotes about parenting, family life, and partnership. This transparency helped audiences connect with her, but also blurred boundaries between professional performance and private life. Kelly's family became part of the show's product, inviting viewers into intimate moments while also exposing the family to public judgment. As their children grew and moved into adulthood, the family dynamic shifted. The once noisy household became quieter, bringing a complex mixture of pride and loss. Kelly openly discussed these changes on air, revealing the bittersweet emotions of parenting grown children. This public negotiation of private feelings is a window into how her personal life continually intersected with her public role. The blending of family and career also intensified as Mark became Kelly's co-host in 2023, further intertwining their personal and professional identities. Working together daily brought comfort, but added new challenges. Disagreements that might once have been private now played out before millions. This arrangement demanded a new level of emotional control and negotiation to maintain both a working relationship and marriage. Kelly's ability to manage these overlapping roles reflects her skill in navigating both public performance and private vulnerability. It also exposed the unique forms of emotional labor required when personal relationships become part of a shared professional platform. The need to balance authenticity with protectiveness remains a delicate act. Their marriage story, while celebrated, reveals the complexities that often accompany public relationships. It offers insight into how Kelly's personal resilience and adaptability are crucial not only for her career, but for sustaining her family life under pressure. The challenges underscore how fame does not simplify, but often complicates, human connections. This careful balancing act between home, fame, and work paints a fuller picture of Kelly's life and sets the stage for understanding the professional struggles she faced behind the scenes, where influence and control were frequently contested. From the confines of marriage and family life to the complicated negotiations within the entertainment industry, Kelly's journey continues to unfold under constant spotlight and pressure. Navigating power and control. Kelly Ripa's rise as one of daytime television's most recognizable hosts came with professional challenges viewers rarely saw. Despite becoming central to life, she sometimes found herself excluded from important decisions involving the program and her own career. One of the clearest examples came in 2016, when co-host Michael Strahan prepared to leave Live for Good Morning America. Kelly's frustration was not simply about losing a co-host. She later explained that she was informed about the change shortly before the announcement became public, leaving her feeling blindsided by a major decision affecting the show. The situation exposed an uncomfortable contradiction. Kelly had spent years helping carry the program, yet her importance on camera did not always translate into influence behind the scenes. Her temporary absence following the announcement quickly generated headlines and speculation, turning a workplace dispute into public entertainment. Kelly eventually returned and addressed the situation on air, speaking about communication, consideration, and respect in the workplace. It was a rare moment when the tensions normally hidden behind television's polished image became visible. After Strahan's departure, another period of uncertainty followed. A rotating lineup of guest hosts appeared while producers searched for a permanent replacement. Kelly had to build chemistry with different personalities while continuing to deliver the spontaneity and energy viewers expected. Ryan Seacrest officially joined the program as her permanent co-host in 2017, bringing greater stability. But Kelly's previous experiences had already demonstrated how quickly circumstances could change. Co-hosts could leave, executives could make unexpected decisions, and the structure of the show could shift, while she remained responsible for maintaining continuity. Kelly has also spoken about difficulties she faced earlier in her tenure. In later interviews, she described having to push for professional respect and basic accommodations that might seem surprising considering her prominent position. Her accounts challenged the glamorous perception that becoming the face of a successful television program automatically meant having equal authority behind the scenes. These experiences show that visibility and power are sort of different. Like in a real way, Kelly might be seen by millions of viewers and still not have much say about particular decisions that shape her workplace. Still, she kept showing up, rolling with new co-hosts, shifting formats, and meeting changing expectations. The humor and confidence people seemed to catch every morning was built on years of handling uncertainty when cameras were not around. It also points to a bigger tangle inside entertainment. Having longevity does not always hand over authority. Even performers with serious success can end up relying on executives, contracts, ratings, and network tactics that they can't steer. For Kelly, these hurdles ended up sharpening how she understood her own professional worth. She realized that keeping a long career alive wasn't only about being entertaining. It also meant pushing for clearer communication, real respect, and an actual voice that mattered where she worked. And as her experience and influence kept growing, another problem became harder to dodge. The constant, intense scrutiny about aging, appearance, and relevance in an industry where women are often measured against standards that reach well past their talent. Kelly's journey from dealing with shifting power behind the scenes to confronting the relentless spotlight on her appearance reveals an ongoing fight, a battle many women in media know well, but is rarely fully seen or acknowledged. The pressure of aging on television. As Kelly Ripa moved into her 40s and 50s, the scrutiny on her appearance intensified, reflecting an unspoken industry rule for female television hosts. Aging on camera is rarely treated as a natural process. Instead, it becomes a subject of constant public debate and judgment. Every wrinkle, weight change, or cosmetic adjustment was dissected and speculated about, often unfairly. This relentless spotlight creates a paradox where women are expected to look youthful, yet authentic, energetic, but not artificial. Kelly's naturally small frame drew attention and concern, sometimes even unfounded speculation about her health. Despite openly sharing her approaches to exercise and nutrition, those disclosures were often twisted. What was described as discipline could be labeled obsession, while self-care was ridiculed as vanity. Such contradictory expectations place an impossible burden on women in media, forcing them to navigate a narrow path between public approval and personal well-being. Beyond physical appearance, Kelly has been candid about the emotional toll of this scrutiny. The pressure contributed to anxiety, especially during times of professional uncertainty or personal change. While viewers saw her as confident and quick-witted, privately, she wrestled with these feelings. This contrast between public persona and private experience is a reminder that on-screen assurance does not always signal inner peace. Live television demands immediate recovery from awkward moments, mistakes, or unexpected emotional triggers. Kelly mastered the art of turning such instances into entertainment, making it seem effortless. Yet, constant vigilance and emotional control require immense mental energy, intensifying stress when cameras are off. The boundaries between her personal and professional selves have blurred over years, complicating her experience of aging in the public eye. Public fascination with Kelly's family added another layer of exposure. Stories about her marriage, children, and home life created intimacy, but also made her personal world part of her professional image. As her children grew up and left home, she shared feelings of emptiness and change on air, blending private emotion with her public role. Kelly's willingness to discuss menopause, body image, and health challenges shifted private struggles into the public realm, helping normalize experiences that many women go through alone. Yet every candid admission invited more analysis, turning vulnerability into public property. Recoveries from health issues or absences from the show became fueling grounds for alarmist headlines and speculation, revealing the cruel cycles of visibility and judgment she endured. The psychological cost of this relentless watching kinda piles up over time. Like a single sharp comment can be waved away, but thousands start to feel like a constant, low-level irritation, a background noise that quietly molds self-perception. Kelly's humor served as a protective shield, sort of, but you know how shields get heavy when you carry them every single day, for decades. And that struggle against public judgment, it's an overlooked piece of aging in entertainment, kind of hiding in plain sight. The media shifts didn't help either, honestly. Back when it was mostly traditional television hosts, the lane was different. Now it's social media influencers, podcasts, streaming content, all demanding fresh novelty at all times. The pressure is like, stay relevant, while still keeping that familiar rhythm loyal viewers want. So you end up having to adapt continuously, test Kelly's resilience and professional instinct again and again, just to keep the balance. Working with her husband Mark brought comfort and some stability, yes, but it also triggered criticism. People accused them of over-centering their marriage within the show. Kelly, for her part, felt stuck because she couldn't really satisfy everyone at once. She was pulled between the demand for unpredictability and the insistence on familiarity. And those contradictions show up again and again across her career and public presence. It adds weight to the personal and the professional pressures she has to carry daily without much pause. And the scrutiny about age and appearance. It's not just about how someone looks, not only that. It's about a wider sense of worth, relevance, and control. Kelly Ripa's experience shows how women in TV can end up paying a steep price just for continuing to show up and perform. The way aging influences public perception is closely tied to how Kelly's personal vulnerability is managed under the spotlight, an emotional terrain she has navigated with remarkable honesty and strength. Managing personal vulnerability publicly. Kelly Ripa's willingness to speak openly about anxiety, health, and the challenges of aging has helped audiences see a more personal side of her. While many celebrities carefully protect these parts of their lives, Kelly has often chosen transparency. That honesty creates connection, but it also comes with a price. Once something personal becomes public, she can no longer control how people interpret it. Anxiety has been one of the struggles Kelly has discussed over the years. On television, she appears confident, energetic, and quick with a joke. But that public image does not always reveal what may be happening behind the scenes. Maintaining an upbeat personality every morning requires emotional control, especially during periods of stress or uncertainty. Live television makes that pressure even greater. There is little time to recover from an uncomfortable comment, awkward exchange, or unexpected situation. Kelly has learned to respond quickly, often using humor to turn difficult moments into entertainment. It demonstrates her experience as a host, but constantly managing emotions in real time can also be mentally demanding. Her personal and professional lives have also become increasingly connected. Stories about her marriage, children, health, and everyday experiences help audiences relate to her. However, those same stories can invite criticism and speculation. What begins as a harmless anecdote can quickly become a headline. Social media has intensified this problem. A short comment from a television broadcast can be clipped and shared without its original context. A joke can suddenly appear serious, while a minor disagreement can be presented as evidence of a larger conflict. For someone like Kelly, that means every personal disclosure carries the possibility of being misunderstood. Health discussions can create similar challenges. Kelly has spoken publicly about experiences including menopause, body image, sleep, and anxiety. These conversations can help normalize issues many women experience but may hesitate to discuss. At the same time, openness can encourage audiences to expect even more information about her private life. That kind of balance is hard. Like, really hard. Kelly tries to stay authentic, But she also doesn't want to give up every little personal boundary. Even if she's just absent, or there's a noticeable shift, people can still start asking questions, and then the speculation starts, you know. Humor has ended up being one of her strongest tools for dealing with that pressure. It lets her nod at uncomfortable topics while keeping a bit of emotional distance. Still, though, turning vulnerability into something people watch and laugh at all the time, that takes effort. A constant kind of effort. Kelly's experience shows the messy reality of being open while you're in the public eye. Her honesty can absolutely build empathy and lead to real conversations, but it can also push private details into the spotlight where judgment lives. In the end, managing vulnerability is basically a non-stop series of choices. What do you reveal? What do you keep protected? And how much of herself is actually for the audience? For Kelly Ripa, that delicate balance has become another unseen job, the kind that sits underneath a career built on looking familiar, feeling relatable, and being constantly visible. The dynamics of personal exposure and public performance become even more complex when considering how closely Kelly's personal and professional lives have merged, with her husband also becoming her co-host. Blurred lines of work and marriage. When Mark Consuelos joined Kelly Ripa as her co-host in 2023, their marriage entered a completely different stage. For the first time, their personal relationship became part of their daily professional life, with millions of viewers watching their conversations, jokes, reactions, and occasional disagreements. Working together every morning brings obvious advantages. Kelly and Mark already understand each other deeply, making their chemistry feel natural and familiar. But that same closeness can also create complications. Moments that would normally remain private at home can suddenly become part of a live television broadcast, where even a simple comment can be analyzed or misunderstood. Kelly has become especially skilled at using humor to manage uncomfortable situations. If a conversation becomes tense or awkward, she often turns it into a joke and keeps the show moving. Viewers may see these moments as harmless entertainment, but maintaining that emotional control requires effort. The pressure to remain cheerful while dealing with personal emotions can become exhausting. Their marriage is also no longer just a private relationship. In some ways, it has become part of the show's public image. Kelly and Mark must constantly decide what parts of their lives to share and what should remain private. Stories about their children, disagreements, habits, and marriage can create entertaining television, but sharing too much can invite unwanted criticism. Familiarity can make things even more unpredictable. Mark knows which topics might embarrass Kelly, while Kelly knows exactly how to tease him in return. What might sound like playful banter between them could be interpreted differently by viewers who do not understand the full context of their relationship. The challenge becomes even greater when tension exists before the cameras begin rolling. Regardless of what may be happening personally, they still have to maintain professionalism, energy, and chemistry during a live broadcast. Their situation shows how fame can erase the normal boundaries between work and home. Their partnership provides comfort and support, but it also exposes their marriage to constant public observation. For Kelly, working beside her husband represents another example of balancing private reality with public expectations. Their relationship may strengthen the show, but it also demonstrates the emotional cost of allowing audiences into a space that was once entirely their own. The increasing intertwining of Kelly's personal world with her public role inevitably shapes how she prepares to face the ongoing challenges of visibility and career sustainability in the years ahead. The quiet cost of enduring success. Kelly Ripa's decades-long career in daytime television is an extraordinary achievement, but behind that success lies a quieter cost. For years, she has remained a familiar face while co-hosts changed, formats evolved, and network decisions reshaped the show. Through it all, Kelly has been expected to maintain the same energy, humor, and warmth viewers have come to expect. Being the constant presence means kind of absorbing change while keeping the show moving, or at least trying to. Behind the cheerful conversations are early mornings, demanding schedules, carefully prepared interviews, and that ongoing pressure to perform even during difficult moments. Her ability to turn frustration into humor has kind of helped define her career. But resilience does not mean the absence of exhaustion, disappointment, or uncertainty. Her identity has also become deeply tied to television. After spending so many years in one defining role, stepping away would mean more than leaving a job. It could mean adjusting to an entirely different routine and also figuring out who she is outside the structure that has shaped so much of her adult life. Age and health have added yet another layer of pressure. Kelly has spoken openly about hormonal shifts, sleep struggles, and keeping her energy steady. Still, in the public eye, even ordinary changes can pull in rumors and speculation. Her openness builds real connection with viewers, but it can also make it harder to shield her privacy. As television keeps evolving, Kelly has to juggle familiarity with reinvention while dealing with constant public scrutiny. Her career suggests that long-term success isn't just about fame, laughter, or staying current. It's also about sacrifice, adaptation, and emotional endurance that doesn't always look pretty. As she thinks about what comes next, one question lingers. What happens when the role that has defined her for decades finally changes? Kelly Ripa's journey reminds us that behind lasting success, there can be a very human story. Resilience, uncertainty, and a quiet kind of sacrifice. Kelly Ripa's story is a powerful reminder that success and strength often carry unseen costs. Behind every smile lies years of sacrifice, resilience, and emotional labor. If you found this glimpse into her life meaningful, please like and subscribe for more thoughtful stories and insights. Your support helps bring these untold narratives to light. And before you go, continue the journey by watching the next video waiting for you on the screen.